Hey folks, Michael Mann with Michael Mann Security Services. Welcome to Assault Plans for Immediate Responders. Hey, if you want to get a hold of us, get us at contact@michaelmannsecurityservices.com, or you can get me at 615-956-3912. So let's move into it. Hey, this is the first time you're jumping in here. An immediate responder is an armed security officer who's going to respond to that hostile area when active shooting is occurring in an attempt to try to isolate that adversary, that active assailant, prevent him or her from becoming mobile, and neutralize the adversary if necessary. Now, this applies to solo responders. So if you're by yourself, you're a solo IR or immediate responder. And then IRTs or immediate response teams are when you've got more, obviously there's more than one, you got two plus responders, right? So why is an assault plan important? And that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about the importance of them and what they are. So planning this response may be required if you're protecting a fixed site. So like you're a church or you're at a church. So you're a volunteer or even paid to protect your house of worship on Sundays, Wednesdays, whenever you guys are meeting for worship. You've made the decision to provide an immediate response during that crisis situation. Now remember, whether you're a police officer, a government agent, or whether you're a private citizen, so volunteer or licensed security officer being paid, you don't have to provide an immediate response. There's nothing legally that requires you to go in to stop that active assailant. But if you make the decision to do it, it'd be a good idea to plan before you do that, okay? And if detection or deterrence was not accomplished. So if you did not deter or detect this adversary early, and again, they go through this attack, it's a good idea that you have this plan set prior to, and you have practiced the plan. So you've exercised the plan. Okay, so let's talk about the priorities of an assault plan, what it is. So number one priority is prevention, folks. Even though this is like how you're going to conduct this assault, how you're going to now go on this offensive action to stop this adversary, I still want to try to prevent it. And so the first priority of your assault plan is for it not to happen. So maintain a physical presence. And so that's being like observed, right? So when the adversary does their terrain analysis, in their observation, they see who their obstacle is going to be, and that's going to be you. Few infantry folks, you know exactly what I'm talking about, the terrain analysis model, right? How we do that, or former infantry folks. So if deterrence detection does not work and they attack, obviously I need to, that's my priority. So hopefully it does work and we prevent that. But if it does not, obviously that plan is here. You also need to develop a target folder. So that's one of your other priorities. Not only we're trying to prevent this, but get a target folder of your building. That target folder is a detailed description of your building. Where are your portals, your doors, what they look like, where they're located, where the critical target areas or your CTA are, etc. So get a target folder developed and have that there and know that target folder. And you want to protect the target folder. Establish immediate contact with LEOs or law enforcement officers. So I need to have something ready. So if an attack does happen, I'm going to be able to immediately get in contact with them because they're going to be my backup. We're going to cover that next. And then this is really important, folks. A lot of you guys are probably retired. If I'm talking to you now, you're retired law enforcement officers, maybe former military. You guys are very seasoned, right? I don't want to say senior like myself, but guys, you got to maintain your equipment, and you got to have the right equipment. You got to maintain some kind of fitness level, and you got to maintain some kind of training or tactics. Okay. You are not going to rise to the occasion, folks. You're going to default to your level of training and fitness and whatever equipment you have. That is the truth. So guys, you got to maintain those three elements. That is also part of the plan, and that's important. This is a big one, and I see where this is not maintained. So something to pay attention to, okay? What are your response options? Guys, this is immediate response tactics or direct to threat tactics. Guys, I learned this in the late 80s. Yeah, that's how old I am, in infantry training school in the United States Marine Corps when it was still called ITS, before they called it School of Infantry. Guys, I learned this, in Mount facility in infantry training school in the 1980s. None of this stuff is new. You're moving directly to the threat. And guys, a lot of risk to this if you're by yourself, if you're a solo responder. This is why planning and maintaining that equipment, that fitness, and those tactics are important. Okay. And then the assault process, guys, you have to maintain access. So if that adversary gets in, obviously, You're protecting something large, like a larger church, a larger school. There's some, there are some deployment considerations. So you got to maintain access to wherever that attack is taking place. Okay. Just in case they don't, attack right where you are. That's where it doesn't start. Then you've got to gain entry. So you've got to maintain access, and then you got to gain entry to the crisis location. So obviously, hopefully you guys have access cards, you have keys. This is important. If you have not studied the Virginia Tech attack, you need to go back and study that. Okay. He was able to keep law enforcement responders out by barricading doors up. Okay. Good case study for this right here. Control the situation. Once you gain entry, guys, there's some things you're going to have to do. With that, you take custody, you neutralize, etc. And that's for another presentation. Communicate with other immediate responders. And I went back in this when we start talking about priorities, your ability to also contact those law enforcement officers. They are going to be your backup. Somebody's got to call 911. More likely it's going to be you, because other people can be locked down, especially if you're by yourself. When this is over, if you're able to control the situation, you've communicated, you may have to search. So before the Leos get there, or your partners get there, or maybe you and your partners are going to be doing this. So you're going to do both a hasty and deliberate search to make sure that the adversary is down. Now, once the Leos show up, they may get there before you can do this, but this is something that needs to be in the process you need to train for, okay? And then be prepared to assist in evacuation once those first responders, right? You're an immediate responder, emergency responder. Once those first responders, those Leos and medical personnel get there. So be prepared to assist in that evacuation. All right, folks, if you want to get a hold of us, you can get us at contact@michaelmannsecurityservices.com. Call us at 615-956-3912. And remember, folks, May 25th, we have an immediate responder course in Brentwood, Tennessee. Follow the link below to register for that course. It is affordable, and we are going to cover all the elements in assault planning. We're going to do entry. We're going to be tactical movement, equipment selection, how to use some of your equipment. It is going to be an awesome course. All right, guys, contact us or call me if you got questions about it. And remember, it is about prevention, not response.